When you got the news about this, what was your reaction?
Well, it was a little bit shocking. My son actually called me and said, hey, there's been a gun found at the school and sounds like we're going to be going home. And, initially it was just kind of like, oh, okay, what's happened? And then, yeah, you kind of let it sink in a little bit. And with what's happened, it's only been 4 months ago since the last one. So, yeah, it was certainly shocking, especially in our small community. Things like this aren't supposed to happen, but they do.
But luckily, everything turned out favorably. No one was harmed. Your students are safe. But yeah, just elaborate that on a little more. It was just 4 months ago that there was a shooting here. So
it was just 4 months ago that there was a shooting here, and my son was a student here at that time as well. And he's handled it fairly well. There's still some concerns. If you can have a deeper conversation with him, you say, yeah, it's real and it's scary, and he's handling it fairly well. And of course, yes, with this circumstance, we don't know yet what's happened. Obviously, last time it was more serious. There were shots fired and people hurt, and that didn't happen this time. However, like I said, we don't know. Maybe a kid was just bringing a gun, thought it was cool, and there was no intent. But that'll come out at some point. But it's still concerning. Do we leave kids in school? Do we take them out? Is the risk worth the reward? I don't know.
Have you had any reluctance as a parent in taking your kids back to school in light of what happened in May and now with what happened today? Is there any, do you have any fears about returning to school, letting your kids return to school, or anything like that? Anything along those lines at all?
It certainly is a question. Do we just keep on doing this, and is it going to keep on happening? I was actually just talking to one of my son's friends, and she said that just yesterday her teacher said, well, yes, we had a shooting, but it's not going to happen again. Things just don't happen twice. And so here we are with another circumstance, and I don't know how many times do we keep on, exposing our kids to something like this if this is going to continue to happen. But I do have faith in the school system. I think that there's ways to maybe curb some of this and have kids understand, what's going on, and this isn't a good idea to bring a gun to school, and there's better ways to cope with problems if there is intent to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So I think that we can overcome it. I think that we can get to the point where we go back to some level of normal.
As you've watched teachers and first responders come here to kind of handle this, get students out safely, what's your comments about how it's been handled by the school and with police?
Well, any circumstance like this, it's hectic. I've seen parents and, they're taking students off and there's tears involved. So, there's emotions are high, but I think that it was I think it was probably about as good as it could be. I pulled in the parking lot and they gave me a card that I filled out and handed that, and that allows the school to get the students out, and then they call my name and my student comes straight to me. So, frankly, I think that that's probably about as good as it could be.
Well, I appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Did you get any text messages from your child about today's incident?
Just phone calls. He called me. I was at work, and he called me and said, "Hey, there's been this incident that's happened, and we're ready to be picked up." So, and then immediately, I was actually in a building that cell service was poor. So my coworker, I said, "Hey, look up the news. See if you can find something that's going on." And it was kind of slow, but yeah, my son texted me and said, "Hey, we're inside. We're just kind of semi-locked down in classes. So, yeah, we're ready to be picked up." And I was able to call him, and he answered, and said, school's still happening, but looks like a lot of students are going to be taken home. So I thought, well, I'm not gonna make him stay. I'll just come and grab him and let him relax today.
text me like what's going on.
Richard Byram. Aaron Warren. Jerry Summers. Jerry Summers. Morgan DeMille.
My only concern is that's the entrance we're passing.